Good morning. Welcome in to Trust Matters, Real Estate and Estate Planning Solutions with Sean Robertson from Gateville Law Firm in Yorkville and online at gatevillelawfirm.com. Sean's via the phone lines this morning. Sean, welcome into the show. How are we today?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you doing today, Mike?
We're doing good. We may have touched on this topic before, but it's an important one because there are some big differences between a will and also a trust. And I think it's important to kind of go over this every once in a while because people might not realize the different subtleties, and it does really matter when you own real estate. So where do we want to break down the differences between a will and a trust?
Yeah, so one of the major differences with a will and a trust, especially for real estate, is especially if somebody has a will. So generally when a person normally has problems with real estate is when one spouse has died. So you have a property that's only owned by one person. So we've got basically two stories here, two families, the Johnsons and the Smiths. So the Johnsons basically own a beautiful home here in Kendall County, and Mr. Johnson passed away with just a simple will, and his wife had predeceased him. And, he thought that would be enough. And then the family was mourning Mike, and they found out that they needed to probate the property. And so instead of just mourning and everything being kind of easy and breezy, the fact that they got to go to an attorney and go through probate is obviously a concern.
And why did it have to go through probate? What steps were missed with Mr. Johnson's will?
Yeah, so when there's a will, most people don't realize that in order for the will to be accepted by the court, you've got to take it through a court process called probate. So that's number one. So part of the problem is just the cost involved in the delay. You can still sell the property, but there's just some additional hurdles. And then sometimes when you don't have a plan, you've also got some additional insurance requirements called a surety bond that normally don't exist if you had things in place with like a trust, for instance.
And that's where the other family's story shows that example, right?
Right, exactly. Where the Smiths, on the other hand, let's say they own the same real estate, but their property is in a living trust. So the family's going through the same mourning process, and the family needs to clean out the house just like the Johnsons. But the difference is there's no court. It's a smooth process. Everything's laid out.
Yeah, that's a peace of mind right there and makes things nice and smooth, especially at a time when you are grieving and going through those emotions. You don't want to be dealing with the headache of a real estate transaction as well.
Exactly. So basically the major differences between a will and a trust are, with the trust, you avoid probate court, number one. Number two, you save money in the long run because generally there's no attorney fees other than just a real estate attorney. And whether you have a will or a trust, you're basically going to have that expense. Where with the living trust, you save a lot of the attorney fees. And the problem, Mike, when you get in court, you just never know when something small could become a big issue. And things could spiral out of, so you can quickly spend $9,000 to $15,000 in probate court, where if you wouldn't have gone to court, you wouldn't have spent anything in attorney fees other than the real estate attorney's fees.
Yeah, and a trust gives you much more control over everything, right?
Exactly. And also, too, the will is public information, where the trust is a private document. Only the heirs and the beneficiaries have the right to see it, and I guess technically the title company and the real estate standpoint.
Something else, too, with a trust, it helps in case of an incapacity, unlike a will.
Correct. So a lot of people don't understand that, like I've mentioned previously, where people have powers of attorney, when a title company evaluates their risk profile, which a title insurance company at the end of the day is an insurance company that evaluates risk. The risk of a property being in trust versus relying on a power of attorney is a big difference from a title company standpoint. So that's something that's very important to know, too.
All right, main differences there between a will and a trust. Important information. If you want to get your steps moving in the right direction to get a trust, talk to the folks at Gateville Law Firm. They're in Yorkville, online at gatevillelawfirm.com. Give them a call at 630-780-1034. At Gateville Law Firm, Trust Matters. We'll talk to Sean next time on Trust Matters Real Estate and Estate Planning Solutions.